What kind of SBA loans are there? Where to find them? What documents do you need to approve or collect? What does the process look like? Hey guys, what's going on? This is Kyle at ProjectionHub. And in today's video, I'm going to show you our new and improved free SBA application checklist. I'm going to be showing you this tool. It's free to download. And basically what it's going to do is going to break down a bunch of different things like what kind of SBA loans are there? Where to find them? What documents do you need to approve or collect? What does the process look like? And that's just meant to help guide you through that process, full of great links and resources and different things that will help you out. So who am I? My name is Kyle. I lead the custom business plan writing services here at ProjectionHub. We've written hundreds of business plans that have resulted in hundreds of businesses getting approved for financing. And in my previous capacity, I was an SBA loan officer for about 7 years. And so I was actually the one on the other side of the table, helping people go through the process of applying for an SBA loan, reviewing their business plans, all of that good stuff. And so I've been on the inside and know what that looks like. And so I'm going to be using that insight to kind of guide you quickly through what this checklist looks like, but then set you loose on using that tool and helping you kind of get prepared and put the best application you can together for your SBA process. So if at some point you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. That really helps us here at ProjectionHub as a fellow small business. If at any point you have any questions, just comment down below the video. We're very active and responsive there. You can also reach out to us directly at support@projectionhub.com. And I will likely be responding to many of those inquiries. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the checklist. All right, guys, here we go. I've got the checklist pulled up here, which again, you can access this down the description below totally for free. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of step through this checklist top to bottom. Now, you're going to notice there are lots of links in here to different tools and resources and other videos. And so basically what those are doing, and we have lots of other videos that'll do more of a deep dive on some specific things. So for example, right here, find a lender section. This is going to take you to a different YouTube video that's all about that section and finding a SBA lender and giving you tips on that. And so this video is going to be more of just a general quick overview of the entire checklist and just kind of getting the checklist in your hands. So just keep that in mind. This would be an hour-long video if I demonstrated every single little bullet point in this one video. So let's just kind of do the quick overview here. So the main thing I want to point out to you, and this is a new thing we've been offering in the last few months that people have really been loving and appreciating. And that is, so this right here is Adam Hoeksma. He is the founder and owner of ProjectionHub. And Adam was the executive director of an SBA lender for over 12 years, approved like 1,500 SBA loans. And what this does is literally a free SBA review. If you are considering SBA, if you're in the middle of applying for one and you just have questions, you can go there, submit information. Again, it's free. You can just use estimates, your information, and you're going to get a custom free review from Adam that basically will answer questions like, what are your approval odds? Do you think there's going to be any eligibility red flags? And just giving you some pointers and some recommendations and some advice. Would recommend you kind of check that out. It's a new thing we're offering, and I think it's really, really great. Okay, back to the regular scheduled programming here. So first off, this section is picking a type of SBA loan. So without, again, getting too far into the weeds, there's lots of different SBA programs. There are different types of SBA lenders. So, the SBA stands for Small Business Administration. It's a federal department of the US government. And there are different programs within the SBA that are facilitated by different types of lenders. And so I'm going to do my best to try to explain this easily, but the three most popular fall within SBA microloans, 7A SBA loans, and 504. By far, the most common and most popular is 7A. That's the biggest of the programs. And that's mainly because the primary people who provide those are banks. Probably the least commonly known is the SBA microloan. And these are my favorite personally. They're just small. So up to 50,000. So this is perfect for people starting a really small business. Think food trucks, small contracting businesses like a lawn care company, different things like that. These are really great. And startups work really well in this program. I worked at a micro lender for a while, and these were awesome. A lot of times the types of organizations facilitating these are nonprofits or community organizations. And so they're more flexible in their application requirements. So this link right here, that'll take you to these ones all right here are breakdowns of the programs on the SBA's website. So even though these are nonprofits, you can't be a nonprofit and get the loan. Just going to put that out there. 7A, again, most popular. These can go up to $5 million. And I want to say the smallest ones are probably in maybe like 100,000, 250,000. They're on the smaller side, but wide range. These can be used for working capital, for equipment, for real estate purchases, all kinds of things. So that's probably the most popular. And then 504, which I would say is probably the most complex SBA loan. These are most commonly used for large real estate, like facility purchases, large pieces of equipment. So they're more restricted in their uses, but 504 stands for 50%, 10%, 40%. So there's a 50% partner, like I want to say it's the 504 lender. That is the 50%. 10% is you because you're going to be putting in in 10% of the cash. And then the 40% is the bank partner that's going to be involved with that. So they're great programs, but that's why they're nuanced. But most generally, unless you're really small, so if you're really small business, not looking for much money, microloans are great. Most businesses, you're going to fall in the 7A bucket. 504, if you know you're going to be building out a large facility, buying big pieces of equipment, expanding your business, then 504 is worth considering. Now, finding a lender, we've got some options here. So again, we've got our 3 buckets of types of lenders. And without getting too technical, we've split microlenders into 2 lists. So we have certified SBA microlenders, which are offering that specific SBA program. So you can go here, go to your state. I'm going to go to Indiana. That's where I live. You can filter it and you can see who's listed here. Some microlenders serve multiple states. I tend to look for the ones that only serve that state. You can go to their website. For example, this is the lender that I worked for many years, and you can kind of see what they offer. Now, jumping back over to our application, the other chunk of these is called CDFIs, which stand for Community Development Financial Institution. A lot of CDFIs are also SBA lenders, but it's just a different list of these ones you can look for. Again, they have a nice filter tool here. You can find them, see what they specialize in. They're great. Now, 7A, again, most common. We got 2 options here. If you want to find the lenders and if you want the lenders to find you, I recommend doing if you want to find them. We took a big list of publicly available data from the SBA, created a free little dashboard where you're going to be able to go through, punch in things like where you're trying to get a loan. You're basically going to find out who are the top SBA lenders for your type of industry in your state, so you can find out which lenders to talk to. This lender match tool is more like you put in your information and it blasts it out to a bunch of lenders, and then they can opt in to talk to you, which sounds great and does work out for some people, but also can result in just a bunch of busy work for you. Lenders love leads. That's what they do, even if they don't always have intentions or the ability to get you to the finish line. But this tool, again, is free for you to go out and see which lenders are doing the most activity in your state for your type of industry. And then again, 504 list there. Jumping into the typical loan process. Now, this is going to differ between every lender, essentially, but microlenders are going to be different from 7A lenders, who are going to be different from 504 lenders. The most standardized are going to be the 7A lenders. So if you have banks, for example, banks have multiple different, vehicles and programs they can lend through. They can do conventional loans. They can do, very nuanced programs. They can do SBA loans, but banks in general are much more regimented. They're much more structured, much more standardized in their steps and their processes. Microloans are going to be the most flexible and they're going to be the most unique, all be a little bit different. But in general, they're all going to start with an intake application. After they get that, you're going to want to talk to a loan officer. If they're not willing to actually let you talk to a loan officer before moving on with getting documentation, I would have some concerns. I would want to talk to a lender, or at least be emailing back and forth with a real one before handing over documentation. Once they get what they need, they will do underwriting, have some follow-up questions. Once you get through the underwriting questions, if you satisfy those, there will be some sort of committee that reviews and then ultimately makes a decision. There might be some follow-up changes after that committee to collect some additional information. And then ultimately you're going to get to typical closing. Now, documents for startups. Again, I have other videos that do a deep dive on these documents for each. We have them grouped between startups, existing, and acquisition. Just a reminder, there's a bunch of links in here that can help you get some templates and some tools and some videos that can guide you through preparing these materials if you fall into one of these buckets. So we're not going to do a deep dive on that today, but if you have specific questions about any of those documents, just contact us. Just reach out. Again, comments down below, support@ProjectionHub.com. We would love to hear from you. And then there's a catch-all kind of additional documents and expectations from general SBA things to be in mind of. But again, use this checklist. The SBA process can be overwhelming. It can be confusing. There's different programs. So I totally get it and I understand. There are so many details to it. We couldn't possibly get them all in one checklist, but this is our best attempt at having something concise that isn't going to take you hours and hours to read through. But please feel free to reach out to us if you have questions about navigating the SBA, if it's right for you. Reminder, this free SBA review is the whole point of it is exactly that. It'll help you determine if the SBA is right for you. It's not right for everybody. We can help you determine if you're eligible, what type of program is the best one for you, and even some lenders that we would recommend talking with and helping you figuring out what you're going to need to prepare for an application. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel. We talk about how to prepare for SBA loans, doing business plans, financial projections, starting a business, growing a business, buying a business, lots of different things in there. Again, reach out to us if we can help you in any way, and download your SBA checklist down in the description below. We'll catch you in the next video. Thanks.